Hello. The Euphrates River is a major international waterway flowing through Turkey, Syria, and Iraq. According to the Bible, when the Euphrates runs dry, it will herald events leading up to the second coming of Jesus Christ. The Euphrates and the Tigris cut across the lands of Syria and Iraq before emptying into the Persian Gulf. For thousands of years, these two rivers have provided fertile conditions for the rise of farming communities and great cities in Mesopotamia, the cradle of the world's earliest civilizations. Today, reports warn that by 2040, both rivers could run dry due to falling water levels and droughts driven by climate change. NASA's satellite images revealed that the Tigris-Euphrates basin lost 144 cubic kilometers of fresh water in just one decade, and the drying continues. In today's video, I'll tell you about the fascinating and mysterious things uncovered in these rivers as the waters recede. In September 1944, near Praho in the Danube Gorge, around 200 German warships were scuttled. Following the orders of their fleet commander, the soldiers deliberately sank their own vessels to escape the advancing Red Army, effectively blocking passage along the Danube. Today, many ships from the Second World War can be seen in museums, but some still remain underwater. In the summer of 2022, the Great Danube River dropped to a record low level, and warships that had been sunk back in 1944 suddenly emerged from the water. To this day, the site remains dangerous as the riverbed is littered not only with the wrecks, but also with large amounts of unexploded ordnance. Local residents are deeply concerned, and Serbian authorities are now planning to clear the wreckage and safely defuse the hazardous area. During a period of extreme heat in Spain, the water level in one of the reservoirs dropped dramatically. As a result, the world was able to see the ruins of an ancient Roman military camp that had long been hidden beneath the water. The camp was first discovered in 1920 by a Spanish archaeologist. Back in the days of the Roman Empire, these structures served as temporary barracks for legionary soldiers. For more than 20 years, the archaeologist carried out excavations in the area. However, the authorities later decided to build a reservoir there, and the ancient Roman camp was completely submerged. The remains of the abandoned camp were flooded after the creation of the Oscotius Reservoir in 1949. Now, archaeologists have once again been able to study the ancient structures and search for valuable artifacts. At its peak, Aquae Quercene had numerous barracks, 2 granaries, a hospital, and a temple. The complex, which could accommodate up to 600 Roman troops, also boasted thermal baths that used the region's natural hot springs. Soldiers even made spiritual offerings in the hot baths. The bronze head of Emperor Hadrian is now kept in the British Museum. It was discovered in the River Thames in London in 1834. Hadrian of the Antonine dynasty was emperor of the Great Roman Empire from 117 to 138 AD. He is regarded as the third of the 5 good emperors. A talented military commander, traveler, and patron of the arts, Hadrian left a lasting mark on Britain with the construction of Hadrian's Wall, which helped to repel raids by the Picts and Brigantes from the north. After Hadrian's visit and the building of the wall, his memory was honored with a bronze statue. Only part of that statue, the head, found in the Thames, has survived to this day. The artifact was discovered damaged. A large hole marred the left side of the head, the pupils were defaced, and the head itself appeared to have been severed from the rest of the statue. Yet despite this, the artifact remains of immense historical value. In ancient times, people believed in omens sent by the stars and the forces of nature. Today, we rely more on science, yet the so-called hunger stones remain to this day as markers of extreme drought. These hunger stones are like messages from the past. The inscriptions carved into the rocks may date back decades or even many centuries, but what unites them is that they emerge from the water only during severe droughts. Drought has always had devastating effects,
on crops, livestock health, and transportation. European regions were heavily dependent on all of these, and so in past centuries, drought almost always meant famine. That is why people carved ominous inscriptions on the stones, to warn future generations of the hard times to come. Some of them bore words such as, "The year 1947 brought hunger," or 1417, "Water in the river almost disappeared." In the summer of 2022, Europe experienced extreme heat, and water levels in the rivers dropped rapidly. The hunger stones once again emerged from the depths. The rivers Elbe and Rhine in the Czech Republic and Germany were hit hardest by the drought, revealing a great number of these haunting warnings carved into stone.
During a severe drought in Italy, a highly valuable archaeological discovery was made: a bridge built during the reign of Nero. Nero became the 5th Roman emperor in 54 AD at the age of 16 and ruled for 14 years. He is remembered as a cruel ruler, yet his reign also saw many victories and the construction of numerous structures. Scholars refrain from asserting with certainty that the bridge was built on Nero's direct orders. It is possible that it was constructed before his reign and only reconstructed during those years. However, this does not diminish the significance of the find. In the era of the 5th emperor, military parades and celebrations were held on this very bridge, and many prominent figures of the time crossed the river by means of it. Now, during the drought, both locals and tourists can witness this piece of historical heritage, dating back to the 1st century AD.
Iraq is one of the countries where drought turns into a true catastrophe. To combat the effects of extreme heat, the authorities decided to draw water from the reservoir in the city of Mosul. As a result, the water level dropped significantly, and in 2018, the ruins of an ancient city were uncovered in this area. Archaeologists immediately arrived at the site and began excavations. It turned out that the ruined structures were part of the city of Zakiku. The discovered buildings were constructed more than 3,400 years ago. Since the city lies beneath the water and the reservoir is periodically refilled, archaeologists can carry out their research only during times of drought. To protect the ruins from further damage, the scientists cover them with a plastic dome. During the excavations, numerous artifacts were found, including vessels decorated with local patterns and tablets inscribed in the Hurrian and Akkadian languages. All these discoveries have shed new light on the ancient kingdom and the lives of its people. The abnormal summer heat of 2022 did not spare Italy. The water level in the Po River dropped catastrophically. On the dried-up riverbed, local fishermen discovered a real bomb weighing 450 kilograms, which had been submerged since the Second World War. The authorities immediately decided to evacuate 3,000 people from nearby settlements and dispose of the bomb. During the operation, airspace over the area was closed and all transport was halted. The bomb was defused and transported to a quarry where it was destroyed. The bomb in the Po River is only one of many others still lying underwater, posing a very real danger. During the drought of 2022, not only Europe, but also several U.S. states were affected. Record-breaking high temperatures in Texas caused the Paluxy River to run dangerously low. Its water level dropped to a critical point. It was during this period that strange tracks, previously hidden beneath the water, were uncovered. After analyzing the discovery, scientists concluded that the tracks belonged to dinosaurs that lived more than 100 million years ago. These were not the only traces of extinct creatures found in Glen Rose Dinosaur Valley State Park, but the find was truly unexpected. The tracks turned out to belong to multiple dinosaurs, including the carnivorous reptile Acrocanthosaurus, which lived during the early Cretaceous period. The park also revealed the footprints of another dinosaur, a truly gigantic creature, standing 18 meters tall and weighing about 44 tons. Many other dinosaur tracks can still be found throughout the park, but unfortunately, they will soon be erased forever from the face of the earth. A Louisiana resident, Patrick Ford, was passionate about searching for artifacts along the Mississippi River. On October 2, 2022, he decided to take a walk around the areas where the water had receded. From a distance, he noticed a large, unfamiliar object and came closer. Just imagine his amazement when he discovered the remains of a large 19th century merchant vessel. Patrick Ford contacted experts and shared his discovery. The news caught the attention of a well-known Mississippi state archaeologist, Chip McGimsey. Chip explained that the ship was called the Brookhill and had once served as a night ferry. The vessel had been built back in 1896 and sank during a storm in 1915. The Tigris and Euphrates were once mighty rivers brimming with water in antiquity. The land in the valley between them was incredibly fertile, and it was here that the very cradle of human civilization, Mesopotamia, took root. Thanks to its favorable location, this ancient region flourished rapidly. People no longer needed to wander as nomads. Instead, they turned to herding and farming. In time, writing appeared, along with sophisticated architecture and even systems of government. Gradually, true cities began to emerge. Today, the lands of ancient Mesopotamia stretch across Iraq, northeastern Syria, and parts of Turkey and Iran. Yet the once powerful rivers, the Tigris and Euphrates, are slowly beginning to dry up. Where their vast basins once flowed, only a thin line of water remains. The drought of the summer of 2022 pushed river levels to a critical low, and if the trend continues, by 2040 they could disappear altogether. It is difficult to believe and profoundly tragic, for it was along these rivers that one of the greatest civilizations in human history was born. In the 17th century, people in Europe believed in witchcraft and feared witches. It was thought that in every generation there lived at least one person bound to dark forces, capable of casting dreadful curses. For this reason, people began to protect themselves from sorcery with so-called witch bottles. At first glance, witch bottles may seem like simple charms, but their contents were far from harmless. For example, inside a witch bottle discovered in the walls of an old pub in England, researchers found a disturbing mixture of human blood, urine, and teeth. More recently, on a dried stretch of the Mississippi River, a man searching for relics left behind from World War II happened to stumble upon one of these bottles completely by accident. Curious, he decided to inspect its contents and found a strange liquid, human hair, a tooth, and tiny insects inside. When he brought his discovery home, his family strongly urged him to return the bottle to the very spot where he had found it. That's all for now, friends. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like, drop a comment, and I'll see you again soon.